Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to our call for tonight. We are going to be doing the DFY Live Masterclass for transforming audio and video with AI. It's volume 12 of New Marketer Workshop. We're going to be doing a few things that I talked about in the hackathon, and hopefully you were able to get that before the price increased. If not, I think you can still get it in the funnel with uh, um, the this week's launch. So if you missed it, and of course, if you're an Ultimate Insider, you already have the hackathon. But I am going to be talking about a few things that are going to be different from the hackathon because, and I've figured out eventually I am going to have to do 11 labs. I will eventually do that. I was kind of hoping that I didn't have to do it, but after having done this week's, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go ahead and have to do that. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. If you got any questions, you can write them there in the box and we'll just dive in. So let's go ahead and get started. I do want to talk about transforming audio and video with AI. As a reminder, we have released a New Marketer Workshop Volume 12. And you can get that at theplrshow.com/TNMW volume 12 so that you'll know and one important element to this is that I didn't do a tutorial masterclass with this. By the time I got through 8 videos, there really was not anything else for me to add to a second course. And I probably would have been trying to stretch it into something that it was not going to be. So what I did is um, I placed the bonus videos inside the DFY Live Masterclass. So if you get the DFY Live Masterclass, not only will you be getting this training, but you will also get 8 videos that you'll be able to use with unrestricted rights on the subject of editing audio and video with AI. Hello, Jim. So so that's just it, and that's only going to be in the upgrade. I don't know if it's going to be indefinitely there. I do know it's going to be there shortly after this call. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about editing audio and video with AI, transforming audio and video with AI. I'm going to spend a little time talking about audio production in particular. And you probably have noticed is if you've gone to 11 Labs and you've probably looked at the pricing, and you might kind of feel like, well, it's another one of these AI companies or another one of these technology companies, and I don't need another subscription. And even though that I think 11 Labs probably has the best AI voices if you're going to be using AI. Now, there are a lot of companies that do AI voices. Of those that I have tested personally, and of those that I have seen recommended, 11 Labs probably has the best level of them. Now, there are a couple of things that you want to be aware of, and that is that in the starter plan and creator plan that you're looking at right now, you can basically create a cloned voice, right? And so in the starter plan, you can create a cloned voice, and it's kind of cloning light. In the creator plan, it's going to be a little higher quality when you actually do that. And they will actually take all of your audios and they will process them, and it takes them 3 weeks to do. So it's a bit of a process if you have the creator plan. And again, it's another subscription. I understand that. I'm going to talk through a scenario where you might use it, where you may not necessarily subscribe to get it, but you may use it every so often if you choose to. I'm going to walk through a scenario here. And just so that you'll see, when you're doing what's called a project, they will recommend that when you're using your professional cloned voice, that you have a certain model, and they'll recommend that you switch to a certain model. And let's say that you go ahead and you switch to that model, right? In this case, they say, well, if you're going to use the cloned voice that we gave you, the one that we worked on, we want you to use 11 Turbo. 11 Turbo comes with standard quality. And here's why that's important. I'm going to show you this now, is that if you look at this area, you can change the quality, but you can only change the quality if you upgrade your account again. So even if you have the creator plan, you'd have to upgrade one more time in order to get high quality levels of your professionally professionally done voice. So again, when I say professionally done voice, this is the one where you upload all your audios. It takes 11 labs about 3 or 4 weeks to process it and put it together so that it works in several different scenarios. And so you can pay obviously if you pay the monthly for this, you'll have access to this. And the point is not to get you to pay monthly for anything else, right? Now, I just want to show you this. I'm going to talk through the scenario in which you will use it. Now, if you notice here, to get to that pro level, you'd have to upgrade and you'd have to pay $99 for a month, right? Now, you don't have to subscribe for a certain period of time. You would be paying $99 for that month. Now, what you're going to get, and I want you to take note of this because this is important for what I'm going to talk about. You get 500 characters per month, right? 500,000 characters per month. That's how many characters you would get. And they say it's about 10 and a half hours of audio total. And the reason that's important is because let's say that you didn't make any mistakes and you didn't have to go back over that. You're probably talking about 70,000 words. That's probably enough to do an audiobook. So if you do an audiobook, you are going to find that that audiobook is going to be between 771 and 125,000 words. Now, you might think that, well, $99 is still too much, right? It's still too much to pay for a month. I would never pay $999 for a month. I want to give you a comparison to this, and I want you to put this in context. Now, if you were to have an audiobook done and you were to go to somebody and say, read my audiobook for me, they're going to charge you $200 to $400 per finished hour, right? So that's what you were comparing this to. So yes, it's a lot to have to pay for an AI to read stuff. Now, if all you're doing is just doing videos and putting them on YouTube, I don't think that's a good use of your time or your resources. However, if you're going to have a published book and you're then going to put that book on the audiobook channel, and you want that book to be done in your own voice, being read by you or narrated by you or narrated by your voice, you can use 11 Labs to compare it to Audible ACX, which you're going to pay a lot more in order to do that. So again, so you just need to understand the context for where you'd even use something like that. I don't necessarily think that it's outside of that context that for an independent solopreneur marketer, there's a case to be made to use it outside of that scenario. I think that's the one scenario where you would probably consider making that monthly payment of $99 in order to do an audiobook of your own, where you're going to get those 500,000 characters, right? If you were to try to do this, it's probably going to be paying something like, you're going to pay 200 times 10, right? And you're probably talking about thousands of dollars if you're going to do an audiobook. So again, no, if you're just using it to play around with, if you're just using it to create videos, it's not a good use of your capital, right? It's not necessarily a good use of your video unless that's all you're doing. And plus, YouTube is not necessarily all that favorable at this point towards you having an AI voice where they're not going to make sure that you disclose that to their, to the people that come to their site. Now, again, so that is the scenario, right? And I wanted to talk about that from the beginning because sometimes these things get lost and you might think, well, why are you even talking about something where I have to pay another subscription? Why would I pay $100 for a month? The only reason that you'd pay $100 a month is so that you would not pay the, I don't know, $1,000 to $2,000 that it would take in order to have your audiobook narrated by an individual on Audible ACX, right? So I hope that makes sense to you. I want to talk a little bit about audio and video and USP and why that's important. And one of the things that you're going to do now, again, now you might like CapCut. CapCut is an audio editor and it does use AI. And there are scenarios in which you would use CapCut and you're going to see a lot of different things and a lot of different options. And what's going to be very important when you're doing any kind of audio and video editing, very important, is that you create your own method so that you're not doing videos where it's going to be, you're going to do a transition in one way for this set of videos and then a different transition in another set of videos. And then you're going to use, some stickers on this video and you're going to use, different text on this video. One of the things that you want to know and you want to start doing, and this is regardless of whether or not you use CapCut or not, you want to make sure that you're developing a brand, that you are developing a way of doing things, that you have a phrase that you repeat, that you have a phrase that you use. When you open up your videos, you should have something branded. It should represent you, and it should not sound like anybody else's. Now, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to necessarily be, super slick. It needs to be unique and it needs to represent you so that if somebody comes by and they see a video, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's in Facebook or wherever it is, when you start editing videos, you want to develop a method of editing. Your editing and the way you do it, what you add to it, the transitions, the text, everything that you add to it, the effects, the way your bullet points fly in, everything should represent your brand. It needs to be unique. So I would recommend that you develop a set of standards, that you use those same standards across all your videos, whatever you're doing. It should be no different if I go to a video that you've done 3 weeks ago to a video that you've done today, it should be the same. There should be some elements about that should speak about who you are and about what your brand is. So the the technical process is less important than doing the same technical process over and over again. And again, this is something that's a subtle point, but it's an important point that you want to be known for the way you edit your videos. You don't have to do anything fancy. You just got to make sure you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. If I come back to your videos 2 years from now, that video should be the same thing. It should be edited the same way. It should have the same fonts. It should have the same transitions over and over again so that it is recognizable for you. Right? Now that's a subtle point when it comes to editing, but it is an important point that you should be following. Now, the most important element in monetization, in your marketing, when you are doing video editing, is to get to a transcript. There are a number of ways to get to a transcript. You can, and CapCut is one of them, right? You can produce a transcript in CapCut. You can produce a video transcript or an audio transcript in V.io. We'll talk about that here tonight. There are a number of ways of being able to produce it. It does not matter which way you use. You want to just have a consistent way at a consistent price that you know what it's going to cost. Now, a transcript can be used as a source document in all your AI activity. So if you're using AI, let's say to create articles, and you want to create good articles that are going to be unique, where the AI is not coming up with the idea, you want to start with a good source document. You get the source document from the transcripts from your video. Let's say that you do and you interview someone. That's a fan. Now, I would not necessarily give that the transcript to that interview away, right? I wouldn't give it to anybody to use. But what I would do is that I would extract out of that the nuggets, and I would make that something that's a source document for new content. All of your transcripts, every transcript that you have the rights to, is source content for good AI content. So what are we talking about? Now, an AI source document, right? A transcript. If you can get it, you want to be able to be good at getting transcripts. It can become a video or an upsell. So if you're trying to figure out how am I going to create an upsell for this product that I'm releasing? Well, one of the ways you're going to be able to create an upsell is to take the transcripts and then turn it into something. You can turn it into a new video. You can turn it into a new presentation. You can turn it into a mind map. You can turn it into a cheat sheet. You can turn it into a checklist. You can turn it into a lot of different things if you've got a good source document. So a bonus or an upsell can be created from a transcript. So you start with a transcript. That's the key to doing any audio, video, and monetizing it. Get the transcript. And it doesn't matter. So you might think, well, I only know how to get it, and it costs me 10 cents a minute. Well, that's fine, right? If that's the way you do it, then get the transcript for 10 cents a minute and monetize it. Right? There really is no limit to what you can do in terms of an upsell. Those of you who are affiliate marketers and you're trying to create something that's going to be unique, and you're trying to create something that'll be desirable for your customer. Well, how are you going to do that? Well, one of the ways in which you do that is you go to the AI and you start with a good transcript in the subject matter that you are going to be creating the bonus in. A bonus can be created from a good transcript, as can an upsell. Any collaboration that you do, right? If you can get the transcript, you can put a collaboration together inside of ChatGPT with just the transcripts. You can have a conversation. Here's an interesting thing that you can do. Now, if you have a conversation, let's say with a with a marketer, now obviously you want to get their permission, but you're just having a conversation about things they do, or a project that you're working on together. What you want to do is you want to capture that conversation in a transcript. That conversation, right? And let me just say this: those of you who are coaching, right, and those of you who, let's say that you are students of a coach, you should be capturing that information with a transcript. That transcript is the key to being able to create unique products and upsells and bonuses. So you can collaborate with other people if you can get the transcript from conversations and work that you do together. It is a totally unique way of doing list building. You should be able to figure out exactly what your marketplace wants for this minute right now, and then create something. Start with the transcript. Try and figure out, well, how am I going to create something that talks about, let's say you're talking about Facebook marketing, and the issue is, well, you can no longer stream in Facebook, right? You can, there's no more third party streaming. Well, maybe you've got some transcripts and you're going to address that problem, and you go to the AI and you address the problem, but you start with your transcript, right? So a unique way of being able to do list building is to start with your transcript. For those of you who use AI for your copywriting, number one thing you should be doing is whatever you've got in terms of your product that you were selling. If you're selling a video product, you should be putting all of the transcripts into the AI before you start asking it to write copy. Now, that might sound like it's a little extreme. It is very important. Even if you're going to the AI and you're saying, please give me a sales letter. Well, you want to give the AI something to work with. And what better thing to give you the AI to work with is the transcripts that you were using that you're actually going to be selling. Now, you can go, if you're going to create, let's say, a sales letter with an AI, and you're going to say, well, I want you to use the problem, agitate, solve framework. Because again, now the best way to get an AI to help you to write a sales letter is to approach it with a framework, right? A copywriting framework. You get one of the classic copywriting frameworks, you get the AI to use that framework. But even when you do that, you put the transcripts in of the product you're going to be selling, right? So anytime you're doing direct response, one of the things that you can do to help the AI help you is to make sure that all the transcripts of the course you're going to be selling, they're going to be in that answer that the AI is giving you. If you were doing a video course and you were going to start with information that you have the rights to use or that you can license, you want to start with the transcripts, and you want to start asking the AI to help you to write an outline. Now, again, I'm not an advocate of you getting the AI to write your course content, right? I am an advocate of having the AI help you to write outlines so that you can do the course content. How do you get that outline? How do you get a rich, unique, cool, good, relevant outline? Start with the transcripts, right? Start with the transcripts. There's always a way. Now, you can walk through every business and marketing principle, and if you start with a transcript, you can address each and every one of them. You start with your own knowledge and you add in the transcripts. You can add in other stuff, right? So whatever you're doing when you're creating a course, start with the transcripts, right? When you're adding in that information, you can get, scientific information from Google Scholar. You can get trade publication, right, from tradepub.com. There are lots of ways of being able to get this information. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about getting those transcripts. Now, again, you might have your own method if you don't have a place and you don't have a way and you're trying to figure out where you're going to pay or are you not paying. Just about everything that you want to do within AI, you can do within ChatGPT Plus. I'm not an advocate that you go out and start going to get a lot of subscriptions and a lot of tools. However, if you must pay for a tool, you want to start with ChatGPT first. And again, I'm not saying it's the best one. I'm saying that it's the most central one. And if you're going to have one and you are going to pay for one on a monthly basis and you're going to have it available and it's going to be on demand, you should be using ChatGPT Plus. I can say that unreservedly. Now, there's Microsoft Copilot. There's a subscription for that, and Claude. There's a subscription for that. I think they're competing. I think they're nice. They're not going to do what ChatGPT does. Now, ChatGPT is already ahead of the game by putting and making GPTs available. And these are different ways for you to extend the functionality. If you will go to ChatGPT and go to your GPTs and type in transcribe, right? That you can make a connection to some elements where you can transcribe using ChatGPT. So again, and you don't have to use this way. You just got to be able to get a reliable transcript and you got to be able to do it on demand. So whatever you're doing, it should be at your fingertips. You get an audio, you should be able to produce a transcript however you choose to do it. One way that has a free element to it, and those of you who use this platform, you're probably familiar with it and you do your video editing with it, it's called Descript. The Descript is a fantastic way of being able to do video editing and audio editing, but it will produce a transcript for you, right? So when you upload the transcript to Descript, you can get your transcript from Descript, and I think they give you about an hour a month, right? So if you don't have any more than that, you're not going to have to pay them. You can use the free version, right? Just go to Descript, get an account. Now, I will say this. They're going to try to get you to download software to your hard drive. Click out of all that. And now I hope I don't get any trouble for telling you that, but I don't think you have to do that. I do not, and I don't think that you have to get a get that software on your personal computer. And now I personally, I'm talking about Windows 11. Maybe it's a little better with a Mac. I'm just saying you can do everything in the browser. Now, if you are at a point where you can't necessarily access your browser and you feel like, well, if I could access Descript on my desktop, it would be better. But even still, when you're using Descript on your browser, on your desktop, it's still trying to access the internet. And so there's some features even within the desktop program that require you to be internet connected. So you might as well use the internet connection or the browser. Now this is your choice, right? Now I'm not saying that, excuse me, the browser is going to be better because you could get you could do something in the browser that could just get things messed up. However, what I want to just tell you is that when you're opening your account, Descript is going to say, hey, download this software in order to get it to work. And it's not going to necessarily say that this is the only way you can make the account work. It's just going to say download it, right? It's going to assume that. I don't know what it does, and I don't really care. I don't like downloading software, and I don't suggest anybody do it when they don't have to. Now, when you get a transcript, I mean, you can always go back. You can put that transcript in CapCut, right? So again, now CapCut's your free editor. It works in the browser. It does not have a desktop software. You can do just about everything you need to do for free. You can do a lot of things that you do currently with Camtasia in CapCut for free. So just so that you'll know, I mean, you can put that transcript right back into CapCut. Now, again, CapCut's going to be free. What we can do inside of CapCut is we can go to, you see that there's a video element, right? If we go inside of the video element inside of CapCut, we can place in our script, right? So remember that transcript, if we go and we have a transcript written, rewritten, we can place a transcript inside of CapCut. Why would we do that? Well, let's say that we're going to produce a new video, or we want we want CapCut to produce a video based on a script that we put in there. We can enter it into CapCut. Now, what I'll show you here is that it's a very straightforward process, right? This is an article that was cut and pasted into CapCut in order to create a text to video, a text to video element, right? So we can produce that inside of CapCut. Now, here's the issue, right? When you do that, the issue is you're probably going to have an audio that's going to be at one speed. So let's say that you had your audio created in 11 Labs, but then you had the video created there in CapCut. Well, how are you going to match up that audio when it was read at a different speed? Well, one of the ways in which you will do that, and you're looking at Veed.io right now. Here's what we can do in Veed. You can do this with the free version, right? You're not looking at the paid version right now. You're looking at the free version. You can see the upgrade button in the top right. We can put that audio in there. And if we go to the speed tab, we can adjust the timing. This is very important because if I can get an audio and I know that audio can only be as long as, let's say, 47 seconds in order to match it with something I've already got, I can do that in Veed. So I put the video in the timeline, I go inside of Veed, and I tell the Veed, hey, adjust the timing. Now, what it's going to do is going to speed it up some, and it's going to make it so that it's, let's say, 47 seconds instead of 1 minute. So it's going to make it sound faster, but you will still have an audio that will match the timing of the video you have already created. So if you want to create an audio and you want to shorten it, now I did try this in ChatGPT, just so you'll know. I did try to shorten an audio in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT does not necessarily fully understand what exactly you're trying to say. You can upload files to ChatGPT. It will take an MP3. It will take an MP4. It'll split them. It'll do all kinds of things. But if you try to tell them something, well, hey, I want you to make this 47 seconds instead of 1 minute, it doesn't know how to do that yet, right? Just so you'll know. I do want to talk a little bit about producing new audio, right? And matching up the audio with the video. Again, here's what we're doing. I'll just walk through this process with you because that's really the last process. You're just going to go inside of Veed.io and we're going to put that audio there on the timeline, right? So there, again, this is the free program. So there's no, you don't have to have the paid version in order to do this. You will then, again, just click those ellipses. Right now, here's the thing about the ellipses, and I didn't talk about this just a minute ago. I can just go and click the speed element, and I can just say, go 2 times as fast, right? That you're probably familiar with. So I can say, reproduce this video, make it 2 times as fast, right? I can do that also. I can just replace the entire audio, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that my audio is going to match any video that I actually need and I'm actually going to produce. Right? I then click on that button that says adjust timing. And then you'll see there that the timing and the duration has a certain length. Now, what you can't do is you can't necessarily go up from there. Right? So I can't make that duration that's 1 minute and 39 seconds. I can't make that 1 minute and 54 seconds. What I can do is I can reduce it. And so what I would do here is, let's say that what I needed is a minute-long audio. Now, in some cases, that might be the right thing because let's say if you're doing something on Instagram, you're doing something on TikTok, you've got a time limit, you want to be able to reduce that time. And now it's important to note also that I'm using this for audio here for this demonstration, but you can put a video in here also, right? Do the same thing. So if you've got to shorten the video, we can put a video in here just in the same way as we put an audio in there, and we can shorten the time duration so that video becomes 1 minute if that's what we need in order to upload, in order to meet the limits that we have. Okay, so that's really it. If there are any questions, and just so you'll know, this is going to be inside of the New Marketer Workshop, Volume 12. If you're an Ultimate Insider, you already have it. There are going to be 8 bonus tutorial videos with unrestricted rights in the upgrade, right? So I didn't have time to create an entire tutorial masterclass, so I'm just going to add those to the upgrade, right? So if you're getting the upgrade, you're going to get the bonus tutorials. They have unrestricted rights also. So you'll get this presentation that I'm doing, right? Once I edit it, what you'll also get is you will also get um um the um the bonus videos that I get. Right? Oh, good, good. Thank you, Dane. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Okay, everybody. Well, I appreciate you all hanging out with me here on Wednesday. We will be releasing finally, right? We've been wanting to do servant leadership for a long time, so we will finally release this on Wednesday. And Laurel is going to finish up the articles, and we will be good to go. All right, so that'll be Wednesday. And once again, if you're an Ultimate Insider, you can get this inside the member area. If you're not yet an Ultimate Insider, you can get this course at theplrshow.com/TNMW volume 12. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care. Hey, thanks, Sharon. I appreciate that. Thank you.